Keeping burglars at bay. Here with today's Sheriff Spotlight is Beth Shell from the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about some stuff this morning that I think a lot of us have heard, but for whatever reason, we constantly need to be reminded about it because the burglars, is there a lot of recent reports now of people trying to get into homes and cars?
Well, there has been an increase. We have seen a little increase in that. And so what we wanted to do today was just give some common sense tips that sometimes even I don't think about, or forget about. So very important that you keep things locked. It's like anything. If they have to work too hard to get in, most of the time they're going to go on to someone else's house that isn't locked.
And I think a lot of us,
things.
we just feel, oh, this is safe, or we get too comfortable, we get too, just relaxed about it.
Right, we do, and you never know. I mean, oftentimes a lot of burglaries happen in the daytime when they know that everybody's working, or early evening, and we're seeing some of that, actually now around the county. And so even if you think you live in a safe community or you live in a gated community, and oftentimes that can happen when you live behind the gates. You think that you're, you're safe.
Well, the gate is locked. I don't have to lock my doors.
And it's not that you're not safe, but you still are vulnerable to be a victim,
There's
of a burglary.
some nasty people in this world. Can we show the surveillance video? I haven't seen it yet, but it just kind of proves this guy goes right up to. This is happened on Sanibel. Is this where this was?
And he goes up. It's during the daytime, obviously you can see, and he has a jug in his hand to look like he maybe is a pool cleaner or some kind of something, and he goes to the door. Nobody answers, so he waits and he comes around, walks around to the back, and you'll see that he does finally make a way in after trying for a while.
And this is bizarre. This is right in the middle of day. I'm just so surprised that people are this brave to do this.
Yeah, and like I said, that's oftentimes when a lot of burglaries happen. And one thing, and this house was pretty good, and sometimes no matter what you do,
this is so creepy to me.
You just can't avoid being a victim. But you want to make sure that you take care of the brush or the shrubs or anything like that around your house. Very important to get to know your neighbors. I know life is busy, we're all busy, we don't have, a lot of extra time, but it's really important that you get involved. They know who you are, they know who comes and goes. I mean, he was here for actually quite a while.
Did he ever get into the house?
He did, and you'll show it what he did in a minute, but he ended up getting a rock or a big piece of brick or whatever. But, and actually, the neighbor later reported that they heard glass break, but they didn't think anything about it, so they didn't call police.
I think most of us assume, we'd like to think that we're all good people, and think, well, that's not happening right next door. But
so, I tell people, if you have an alarm system, use it, even in the daytime. It's not just for night when you go to sleep. Use your alarm system, even when you're running to the grocery store. It does not take long for someone to get in, and you'll see that.
Does this guy get caught?
He did get caught.
So
I do believe he did get caught.
This is a good surveillance video.
Isn't it so clear?
By the way, I mean, the technology these days, I think, they're still relatively, affordable. They're not too out of the price range.
No.
Do you recommend surveillance cameras
actually,
if you
can afford it, I would certainly consider that. You'll see he threw the rock out, and he's going to crawl in here in a minute. He's not going to be in there very long. I know. So it's those things like that. Just take the extra stuff. But if you are interested in a neighborhood watch or a community watch program, please call the Sheriff's Office. We'll be happy to help you set it up.
Well, and I know it's different too, especially with our area. With I think sometimes I don't know. You tell me. I mean, with the seasonal residents and people, leaving for weeks at a time. I mean, I think people think they can get away with a little bit more here.
Yes, and because we are so transient, the burglars know that we don't get to know our neighbors like we should. And they, somebody could be watching without us even realizing it, and they know our schedule, when we're gone, when we're home.
So as we close here, take home, make sure you lock the doors. Obviously, surveillance video would be great if you know that you're, and then give us some other pointers. Make sure that the bushes are trimmed, that it looks...
Look around your house, your yard, and make sure that you don't have large bushes in front of your windows.
That could be hiding.
They could be hiding in, that are entry points. Also, at the Sheriff's Office, we also do that as well. We will come out and we'll look around your home and tell you what we think you need to do to make it safer. We do that free of charge. We spend time with you. So, you can go get simple locks for your sliders so that you can, bolt them in a little bit tighter than just the latch there, because sometimes those are easy to jar and get off the tracks. you know, those things are very important. It's just the small things. Keep your car doors locked outside in the driveway. We've seen an increase in that as well. I'm guilty of that myself. You know, I get out after work and I think, oh, I'll come back out and lock it, or I've got to come to the car and get something. I've left my purse in the car overnight. You talk about panic when I wake up in the morning. So it happens even to those of us who are trained.
And I think, again, as you said, we're all so busy sometimes that we just need to kind of stop, take a moment, kind of.
And don't be afraid, if I can't just close, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but don't be afraid to call the sheriff's office or your local police, whatever, you know, area that you live in. If you see something suspicious, someone
report it.
If someone would have seen this person and just taken a few minutes to contact, you know, the police department or the sheriff's office, we probably would have caught this guy. Don't be afraid. You're not bothering us.
Well, we appreciate that. We do. We appreciate for what you do in our community. Beth, thank you so much.
Thank
we look
you.
forward to having you back.
Thanks.
All right. For any more questions, just contact the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Very easy to do. Thank you so much, Beth. I'll send it over to Steph.
Up next, why the secret to looking younger may be a European facelift.